and welcome to episode 4 of the WoSo Sidelines Report podcast. Today I am joined by everybody's favourite Lioness fan, Zoe Bond from Lioness's Socials, and we're going to be talking all about fan culture, what that should look like, the positives, the negatives of it, and what we want our fan base to be.
Okay.
Hello, and Zoe, please could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name's Zoe, and I run the Lioness Fan Zone on TikTok, which is probably where you know me from. And of course, you also know me from the WhatsApp that I set up a while ago. And yeah, so yeah, mainly from my TikTok account. And what was the question?
Who are you?
Who am I? Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, so I'm from Gloucestershire. I'm 4 years off being 50, so I'm a bit older than the usual sort of WoFo demographic as being a fan, and especially on being on TikTok. But you know, I'm okay with that. It doesn't really bother me. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Age is just nothing but a number, really. So yeah, and what I was going to tell you about myself. Pretty boring, really, apart from being a fan of women's football. I lead a really boring life.
So kind of saying about that, what is it that made you love the women's game?
Okay, so actually, me and my sister went to a match. It was in the end of 2023. It was December at Wembley. I remember it being bitter cold against the Netherlands. I think it was.
Yeah.
It was so cold. Can you remember being really cold? Oh my God, so cold. And we went because, of course, we were. I sort of become quite interested towards the end of the Euros. It piqued my interest then because, of course, people were talking about it. And then I remember watching the World Cup, and then off the back of the World Cup, I was like, "Oh, we should go and watch a live game." So yeah, we ended up at that Wembley event, and the sort of the backstory, which I'm going to start telling quite a bit myself on my socials soon, anyway. But you're hearing it here first. My backstory as to why that match for me was so monumental, it's sort of really cheesy, it turned my life around, was I had quite a big and successful equestrian business, which had to close a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago now, because I couldn't keep it afloat anymore from the back of the pandemic. A big part of what we did was leisure and tourism, of course, the industries that got hit. Just about kept it afloat financially to ride through that storm, and then we went straight into the cost of living crisis. And then by then, I had no reserves left or resources left. I'd had quite a bit of help from people just to keep afloat. And by then, I had nothing left in me financially, physically, emotionally, mentally. I was just drained. So I had then decided to fold the business. After 7 years, like I say, it'd been very successful. We'd had a great time. Really put us on the map as what we did with horses and training and all the fun and stuff we did. And around in the same month of me doing that, on a separate sort of occasion, my landlord of my home asked for his home back because he needed family to move in there. So because I had no resources left at all, ever since then, I've been living on my mum's sofa. I do pet sitting for a living. I do live-in care as well also. So I've made myself a bit of a professional sofa surfer. Yeah. So that night when I went to that game, since 2020, since the pandemic and all the worry then had accumulated, and to that part of me was everything about me was completely switched off. I was at my lowest. I was traumatized through what I've been through, and to the point, actually, I think for the first 6 months of moving back in and living on my mum's sofa, I was pretty mute. I hardly spoke, which I know you lot haven't known me for that long, but people that know me for a long time know that I was always a life and soul. I was always bubbly. And yeah, I was just really, really shut down, and I just couldn't breathe because of stress and everything. I was just always had a heavy chest. And I remember going to that match and just feeling adrenaline again for the first time in a long time, feeling something for the first time in a long time. Highs, lows, on the edge of the seat stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot this is what life is about. And it sort of, that was it then. It just opened up the floodgates of everything that had been shut for such a long time. And that was it then, hooked. Absolutely hooked, me and my sister. My sister had also been through lots of troubles over the years. And we were like, oh my God, we need to go again. And I remember then, I think I sort of come home and got on TikTok. I've been skirting around with TikTok for a little while as just a consumer. And I was like, oh, I need to get on the women's football community. I need to know more. Because I think I started asking when's the next match, or what's going on with the leagues and what they're qualifying for and what's their big tournament next. And I didn't really, when I was searching for the answers, it wasn't really that easy. It's one of those things like when you know. And I was asking people, I was asking the questions on TikTok, and some people weren't really, they didn't know, or they didn't want to say, or some in the early days I found a little bit of gatekeeping going on, which actually will then tie in back to why I do what I do on TikTok. And I was just like, I need to know everything. I need to know everything now. So I sort of joined Facebook groups, asking questions there. Then I started looking in the right places, UEFA, FIFA, England website and things like that. And started slowly getting the information that I wanted. And I was like, well, if I'm finding it such a struggle, or if it's not right at my fingertips, other people are going to be feeling the same thing as well. So that's really why I set up my own account on TikTok, because I thought, if just one match has unlocked something in me, and like I say, as cheesy as it sounds now, changed my life, I know there's going to be other people out there feeling the same thing. And I just wanted to hear other people's stories. I wanted to keep that feeling alive after those initial 90 minutes. I was like buzzing for days. So was my sister. And yeah, so I just decided then that's why I started TikToking. But to start off with, actually, when I look back at my early TikToks, as we all do, it's like, oh God, dear God. But actually, some are funny. I was just doing edits, like funny things, funny edits and things like that. And actually, the whole when they can share on this day, some of the ones still make me laugh. But yeah, that was sort of my way of, like, I suppose, getting used to how TikTok works and things like that. And then I decided, like I said before, was if I can't find this information easy, there's new fans coming into the game weekly, daily, monthly. And I could see like what I would say now with basic questions being asked, and then people, like, especially on Facebook pages, and people making others feel stupid and small asking that question. And I was like, well, we were all beginners once, it's not, you shouldn't, we're meant to be a welcoming community. You shouldn't make people feel stupid. They're not going to ask that question again or other questions again if you're going to shut them down. And then I was just seeing like questions like, if we were in a Nations League match or whatever, and people saying like, oh, will this go to penalties after? And I'd be like, oh, well, no, it wouldn't. I know that. But, oh, they don't know that. So then I decided to actually, I say now on my page, no question is too stupid, because it's not. Yeah, it's not. If you don't know, you don't know. So I really, really strip everything down to really bite-sized questions. And sort of going back to Lincoln, talk about fan culture and things. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Lionesses, but I'm actually a fan of being a fan, and I'm actually fans of fans, is the way I see it. So I like, because I want to actively get involved in every part of fanship, fandom. I just get carried away and easily excited about other people. And I'm like, how can I just bring everybody along on this excitement and be excited about it all the time? Not just for the 90 minutes, not just to the week building up to the match, but like every day. Every day. So yeah, I just think I love to just be an enthusiastic fan and want other people to be enthusiastic and find answers easy or get. Now I just like to give people answers. Um, so I would like people to come to me as like one of the first sources, and I like to try and get the information out there as quick as I can, so the fans just then can just get involved as quick as they can and get their answers. So um, yeah, what was the question?
It was, what do you love
Was
about
this
football?
was
Which,
this literally my introduction?
yeah, probably. Um, do you know what? First off, thank you for sharing all that because it's so. I think it's so difficult to be vulnerable online,
Yeah,
um, but that is what so many people love about the women's game is how much life it has in it. I mean, I know when I started WoSo Sidelines, I was going through a really, really difficult time. Um, and it's brought that life back to me, as
yeah,
you were saying. And it's so, I mean, I've been following women's football for a lot longer than that, since when I started this, but it's just that emphasis of feeling involved.
yes, yeah, it is, and it's like I say, 4 years from being 50. But I've always looking back now, I'm always analysing sort of why I have involved myself so much in the community because looking back in the 1990s when I was like a teen and in my 20s,
Mm.
um, nightlife and music and nightclubs was huge back in my
Yeah,
day, and I made the most of that. For 15 years I was wild, and then after that I got into horses, running an equestrian business. Horses were everything, and a big community all wrapped up in that. And actually, some people have heard me say it, but people are quite surprised when they meet me. Is I am a raging introvert. I am so introverted, but I can talk like this for a bit. I can be out all day with people. I can be out all night with people. But hits a certain point and I need to sleep or be by myself for several days.
yeah. I get it. I get it. I'm the exact same. And I think a lot of people say when they meet me, "Oh, you're not shy," and then the people that know me really well, they're like, "Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they are.
yeah."
Yeah. So I just think I think I've sort of hit this part of my life now where I've obviously gone from, so going back to the community thing, I've gone from one community to another, and even though I'm a massive introvert, I didn't realize how much I was lacking actually, having come out of the business like I did and it ending like it did. And I shut myself down, I shut myself away. Obviously, I needed to do that at that point just to I was taking it hour by hour at one stage, and then it was like day by day and week by week. And I say after that game that night, I was like, oh God, it's actually really good to be back around people again, meet strangers, connect with people. And I was like, oh, it's just so refreshing to actually feel that I sort of poked myself from under the covers again and come back to life. I knew there was a reason why started waffling about introversion. It was because, like I say, I knew that I enjoy being a part of a community again. And yeah, like you say, the more people I speak to, the more I realise, like you say, everybody is going through so many things or been through huge things, and but the community or football has sort of really brought that out of them and made them um, have a bit of purpose and hope again, I think. So it is it's amazing, really.
It's, and I think kind of what you were saying with the community and building that community. I think, and to be honest, all credit goes to you here because I think you've done a really good job at actually bringing people together and building a really organic community of people that just love football. And I think that's such a positive example of what fan culture should look like. Um,
Yeah, I think when you've
yeah,
got a common thread, it's easy, isn't it? Because football or any sport or any community as a whole is like you've always got that one common thread running through it, and then you've just got different ages, different sexual orientations, different other interests, different personalities, and you're always going to have times where you don't see eye to eye, you're going to clash, or whatever there is, and there's always going to be, because that's people. But the fact that it's like I feel like I lead a double life, and I love it. I don't know if you feel the same. It's like, okay, my mum
I feel like
obviously
I live
knows.
4 lives.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like, obviously, like my really close friends and family sort of know I've got an interest in football, because it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I'm thinking, especially at the moment when I've started sort of hitting the clubs and doing the whole neutral content, I'm thinking, I'm always at a football match, and I'm thinking 99.9% of people on my Facebook wouldn't have a clue that this is what I do
Mine
now.
do, because it's all I talk about.
See, nah, I don't think I don't as much on Facebook, but I'm like, yeah, but I'm on TikTok. It is my life on TikTok. And then, yeah, it's just mad to think that actually I feel like I'm leading a double life, but I quite like it.
I started a new job in November, and they're only just starting to clock the whole football thing. Um, Only because I've accidentally let it slip a couple of times. But they've got no idea, like, the kind of stuff I do. They don't know I just go and sit in a press box every week. I think they just think I go to a football match with a notepad. Like, a colleague the other day was like, when you go to a press conference, why do you get to speak? You don't work for the BBC. It's like, oh no, that's not how things work. Like, I'm regularly telling Gareth Taylor what I think, and he doesn't even know my name. But yeah, so kind of leading on from that, what do you think fan culture should look like? Because we have seen some really negative aspects of it over the past few weeks.
Do you know what? Was it last week? I went away for the weekend, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Because it started just feeling really, really heavy. I think there
Yes.
was the Millie Bright incident, which I was being told by a fan, and I think I was so annoyed. I just put my camera away, but I think I just caught the tail end of that going on, because
Yeah.
Millie
Oh,
was
you were
like chatting
there.
up and down and at her.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there, and I seen it happen, but I didn't realize what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Millie was sort of having, been with the crowd right by me and having
Yeah.
photos taken and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, she just looked really shocked. And she turned around and walked up to a Chelsea male member of staff, and was saying something like this, like whispering. And the male member looked like that behind. And then he called her, Millie, and I think it was Aggie, back over and said, come on, and walked them back in. And I was going, what's going on there? That's odd.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. And then that come out after that. I thought, oh, blimey, interesting. But I didn't hear what was said. So yeah, that was that going on. And then it was the thing, was it the
Funny show.
everyone going, is it about a Spanish player touching somebody, and a
Oh,
pile-on of that without anybody sort of know it. I mean, I don't know what else has come out of it since then, but the pile-on onto her, and I just thought, hang on a minute, everybody, just calm down a bit on these players. Everyone seems to go online now and have a massive opinion, and opinions are fine. And I get it. I did a while ago rant on, I think, when Ella Toon got the whole face like a smacked ass, wasn't it? And I did go on there and sort of get a bit angry about it. But I just thought there just seemed to be one thing after another and after another after another, and I was just like, hang on, where's this all coming from? Especially from in our sort of women's community. I was like, hang on, it's just a bit too much at the minute. And then and the Alan Brazil, whatever his name is, incident.
yeah.
And then it's all the creators that were getting loads of bad comments in their comments, and I was just like, oh, I just need to step away from this for a while. It all just felt really horrible for a bit. And luckily, like I say, I was away anyway for a few days, but I thought actually this is right time just to come off social media for a few days and have a break. But in terms of fan culture and what should it look like, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because when I go to Lioness games or club games, as I've got older, I've got really sensitive, and I'm often in tears, just stood in tears, because I'm looking around and I'm just like, look at these kids, and like, look at these families that are here, and that's it. It sets me off.
Yeah. No,
And
I'm
I'm
just
just
stood at a bus stop crying. So
crying. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? And it's just like, God, what's wrong with you? I'm probably menopausal. But I'm just
I'm
like,
not.
no, no, you shouldn't be. It just gets me in the feels sometimes. I'll catch myself like trying to dab my eyes. And I think it is just that you look around, it's just a cross reference of people. And that is a good thing. But I think there is a place for everyone. It's like, I'll go, and if I'm not driving, I'll have a couple of pints. So, I'm not a big drinker, but there's definitely a place for people if they like to go there and get on it a bit. I do like the way they've brought in the new now that like the England home end. If you want to be like super rowdy, you can at the one end.
Yeah.
Because I have been to a few matches where I've been a bit, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
I've got a bit, loud. Now somebody sat next to me is a bit like, and it's like, oh, this is a bit awkward.
Are we in the home end at the Portugal game?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. No, I don't think. Do you know what? I've booked so many tickets recently. I don't actually know where I'm ever sat for the rest of the year. I've no idea. We can sort that out. So yeah. So I think there's a place for everybody. Of course, there is. There's always room for everybody. Fan culture. See, I know the whole kids going up and screaming for players and with banners. People get annoyed at that, and I'm like. But look at what's just happened now with I always mispronounce the name. Iona Mar, is it in rugby?
I love her. Ilona
I love her. I love her. But I'm like, yeah, she's going round, she's signing everybody, she's getting selfies, and everyone's like, oh, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. Okay, if she was to stay and play rugby in the UK in a year's time, people are going, oh, how annoying is that? The kids going up to the front asking out for the players. But that's what they encourage at the start.
Yeah,
that's what's grown that fan base, is the fact that the players started doing that, took the time, encouraged it. The families and the kids love it. It's the way they've connected to their fans. It's what's helped grow one aspect that's helped grow the game. And now everyone's like, oh, I hate it, I need to stop it. And now it has become so big, even like clubs like I think Chelsea or Man U or one or the other. And others have done the whole now, like pick a select.
Man United, Chelsea and City have all got now like autograph alleys.
Yeah.
You've got to have a wristband and they've only let like 20 people in.
Yeah. I think that is probably the right way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it does, I'm probably going to get shot down for this, but it has annoyed me a little bit how hard people have been attacked and annoyed about that, where actually it was a big part of growing the game. And now it's a hard one. It's a hard one. I don't know how. Perhaps that's what clubs and they're just going to have to keep doing, is the whole just allowing the section and doing the whole alley thing or whatever. But yeah, what else can I think about fan culture? I do like the fact that I think what the women's game have done in terms of fan culture is the fact they're quite, compared to the men's game or the men that play, they're quite active online. Not active as in me or you active.
Yeah. Arsenal's social media is absolutely top tier.
Yes. Oh, and Chelsea's social media as well, actually. I'm like, they have. Do you not like it? I love it.
I'm not a fan of their social media. I love their YouTube.
Oh yeah, good point. See, now I do like what they turn out on a daily basis. Their short form.
For me, it's the YouTube that Chelsea excel in.
I'm gonna have to start having a nose.
Podcast they do. I love it.
Oh yeah, something today with Lucy. Is it Lucy and Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh
yes,
no, it was Lucy being asked to describe bumper cars. You see that one?
No.
Oh, I'll tag you in something later.
Thanks.
So yes, I think the fan culture thing. I think why, as females, or I shouldn't be speaking to everybody really, but we are quite nosy. We like the who's, the where's, the what's, the why's going on. We like the what are they wearing, or what they like as people, and that's what's got us invested. That's what we are. We're not just fans; we're invested fans.
Yeah.
So it's not just about football when it comes to women's football. It's so much more than that. And I think to help grow the game like they have done over the last few years is the fact that they've shown parts of themselves on social media. So we do become invested. As with anything though, obviously, again, they've got to be careful of what they do and things like that. And it's got to be respected. But I do think think that has brought real loyal die-hard fans to the game, and that's been a big part of fan culture, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I really
Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can think of. I don't think so at the minute. So something might slip off my tongue in a bit, but
bring it in. I was just saying, I really agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think with the kids signing shirts and stuff like that, I said in an earlier episode, I don't have an issue with the kids. I have an issue with the parents who are like punching people out the way.
Yeah.
And like tackling people to the ground so their kid gets a signed shirt. That is what I have an issue with.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, because I really like that, you can see a bit of the players, you can know a bit about their personalities. I'm obsessed with all the Japanese players, and I'm obsessed with them. And I'm obsessed with how protective the rest of the team are of them as well.
Oh, that is cute, isn't it?
Like how Chelsea are so protected. Oh, I love it. They take her for ice cream. It's so cute. However, I feel like we need to stop this obsession with who they're dating.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, because you've just got like fandom, and that's fine. But then it sort of verges. I know we call ourselves stands as a joke or whatever, but there are proper obsessional people out there.
Yeah.
And I do think it does get a bit blurry when it comes to the whole who they're dating and getting too wrapped up and invested in their love lives. Yeah, that is one, I think, where we've really got to respect the players and their romantic lives and things like that. But again, it's just that nosiness in us.
Yeah.
But the same as anything, it all comes down to a healthy balance, I suppose, isn't it? When it comes to fandom. So
100%. And you must have seen these on TikTok. I've got to ask you about them. Those edits people do of like where they create whole stories and fan fictions with these.
Oh, I think I had, a while ago, because I was reading it thinking, is it normally like on a carousel?
Yeah, and
and I'm thinking,
not you personally, but you're in the story and it's like your name.
Yeah, and it's like, what's it? I'm really baffled, but yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've only come across it once or twice, but I was just like, I think I was confused, so I was like, I don't know what's going on here, but I think that's what it is.
Flooded with them.
Oh.
It's absolutely. I remember when I was teaching, one of the kids found out I did TikTok, and it was about women's football, and one of them genuinely like, "Oh, you don't make those edits, do you? Of like fan fiction and your names, or where like you're pretending that you're dating the player, or you've got a kid with the player, or like you're Alessia."
Yeah, that's a bit too much, isn't it? I think
Russo's sister, and I'm like, no, journalism.
Yeah, take me seriously.
Journalism.
We might be one day soon. Keep working hard.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Do you have any lasting words for us?
No, I don't think so. I think just I think, well, yeah, okay, then I have. So I've been thinking about this as well recently. The whole hatred we get all the time online, the misogyny. I just don't think. I think we've got to be. Well, I'm starting to be a bit realistic in it now that it probably won't ever go. It might get a little bit quieter as the years go on, and women's football is well, I see it as a norm now. Lots of people don't, and it's just like. I do remember probably about 5-10 years ago on like Facebook was flooded about vegans versus meat eaters versus vegans fighting all the time on Facebook. And now it's just something that's not even talked about. And it's just like, I'd like to think, I know this is probably a weird thing to compare it to. I'd like to think it gets to a stage where it's just like, 10 years ago, can you remember how pathetic it was back in the day when it was like male versus female with football? But I don't think it's going to really go away that much or get that quieter. And I've decided, like I say, after last weekend when it all blew up, as much as I have not dived that deep into the whole Mel Robbins let them theory, because I'm like, how has this woman managed to write a whole book on just a few words, which I think I know probably works from just that sentence she says, like just let them. is actually just let them. Let them. And in the meantime, do you. Okay. Carry on enjoying the game. Carry on watching it. Carry on talking to a new person about it. Carry on taking your family. Carry on watching it on TV. Carry on buying another ticket to another game that you might not do. You know, there's so many ways that we can support the game growing. And I've decided that I try to stay away from the negativity. I do catch myself commenting sometimes, and I'm like, this could be 5 minutes spent growing my account. This could be 5 minutes spent answering my own comments, questions on my own account. You know, this could be 5 minutes spent me looking to see what match I can go to in 2 weeks' time. Go and spend my time more positively in a positive way. That's not going to let negativity drag me down. Because like I say, last weekend when it was all kicking off, I was just angry. I was just annoyed. I was annoyed for other content creators about the fact we're in this situation again, off the back of, you know, Joey Barton all the time. And I just thought, no, just let them. Yeah. It's not going to stop. And I know probably some people will disagree with me. Wow, we need to say that. We need to say that. They're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. So let them, and let me get on with it and enjoy myself.
So the lasting message of that is women's football fans should be vegans. Thank you.
That's exactly what I said.
Yes.
I'm going to go off and have a bacon sandwich now.
I'm not. I'm a vegetarian.
Guess what? We get on.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Zoe.
No, a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. And I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Zoe, for spending that time with me tonight. It was really good to talk about what fan culture is at the moment, or what can be, and also the positives of it. As Zoe said, we've really had a really negative few weeks in the women's football fandom, so here's looking forward to a more positive time in the future. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock.